Naughty words. Oh, look who's back. He's
Ah,
not on a beach. He's just a son of a beach.
oh, stop it.
All right, 30 seconds.
All right. I just sent you another yellowish one. I might use that one the first half hour here.
Okay.
From the Civic Media World Headquarters in Madison, Wisconsin, it's the Todd Allbaugh Show. And now, pursuing truth wherever it may lead, here's your host, Todd Allbaugh.
Wisconsin on the Civic Media Radio Network and streaming worldwide on the Civic Media app. Good afternoon, everybody. Todd Allbaugh along with Mr. Aaron Zomers, our producer and engineer. Welcome in. It is 6 minutes past the hour of 2 o'clock on this Wednesday, August 13th, 2025. It's a great day to be a Wisconsinite, and it is
Hump Day.
That's right. Halfway through the work week. Glad to have you along. What a day it is if you're watching on the stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, X, Twix, whatever you want to call it. I am adorned in Milwaukee Brewer gear, my number 8 Bob Uecker jersey today, along with Mr. Pat Kreitlow, host of sorry about that. Morning to Pat Kreitlow, but also
Powered by Up North News. Yes,
Powered
exactly.
by Up North News. Every morning from 6 until 9. And from the demilitarized zone, Trygve Olsen, the senior advisor to the Lincoln Project just outside the occupied nation's capital. It's a big day, gentlemen, because the Brewers are going for win number 12 in a row. No, you're not supposed to talk about it, but if they win today, free hamburgers at George Webb. And the Brewers just got another run. They are up 2-0 right now. And in the third, 2-0 in the third, Brewers. So it's a great day to be a Milwaukee Brewer fan, Pat.
It sure is, but I don't mean to be passive aggressive, but that is my default setting. And if the Pirates by chance come back to win this, I can boldly predict the Brewers will then start another 11-game winning streak.
Yes.
It's just keeping, they're watching our diet. You guys don't need those free hamburgers, So they'll win 11 here, 11 there, and pretty soon you got yourself a division title, but no burgers.
It could be the Milwaukee Brewers are now only the second team in the National League to have 2 11-game win streaks since the Cubs in
1935.
Yeah, thank you, Pat. 1935.
90 years.
So it's been quite a run here so far by the Brewers, and trying to extend it tonight or this afternoon right now on many of our stations across the Civic Media Radio Network on the broadcast side. Because we cannot stream the Brewers, but glad to have you along. We'll keep track of that as the afternoon progresses. Going to hear a little bit from Christian Yelich. Really great guy. I think by all accounts is somebody that Bob Uecker, the late great Bob Uecker, took under his wing, along with Bud Selig and other people that were longtime parts of the organization early on when they acquired him from Miami, along with Robin Yount, and really explained the culture and the history of Milwaukee to Christian Yelich, and he has really become the leader of that quiet but very, very important leader of that clubhouse. So we're going to hear a little bit from him later on in the show. Also going to be talking a little bit about what's going on in Alaska this Friday. Trygve Olsen, of course, has done a lot of work around the globe against authoritarianism. We're going to be getting insight onto can we expect anything coming out of Alaska on Friday.
Can I sum it up in one word?
Please.
Capitulation. That's
Yeah.
all.
Disaster.
If I have to do it in 2 words, Neville Chamberlain. Okay, I'll stop now.
Also, talk a little bit about Washington, D.C., where Trygve lives just outside of the federal takeover by the Trump administration there. Why the statistics, or as we say it back home, statistics show otherwise. So actually crime was going down in D.C. And what is this all about? Could it be perhaps the Epstein files? We'll talk about that. Wisconsin governor's race made a little bit of semi-news yesterday. State Senator Kelda Royce was on the program. Didn't exactly announce her bid for governor, but came pretty darn close. So we'll talk a little bit about that as well. One of the Republican candidates for governor, Marion Barry. No, Berrien. No. Bill Berrien. Wants to have uncontrolled concealed carry in Wisconsin. Why, that's probably not a great idea. And we'll ask Trygve Olsen, one of the owners of the Green Bay Packers, why the headline reads, "Love Hurts." Or is hurt. Yeah. We'll talk about all those things. But first of all, gentlemen, welcome. Trygve, welcome back from Europe. Do you have a little jet lag today?
So much jet lag. It's the computer that actually had the jet lag, apparently.
He started answering that question, and then he just bada bing, bada boom.
Anyway, here comes magically
I'm back.
Yes.
I am jet lagged. Yes.
Yes, and so is your computer, but we'll muddle through. It's fine.
How was the trip? The family was over there. Are they still there, or you have to come back
They're
alone?
Still there. Yeah.
Right.
The trip was good. I worked kind of a lot, and we went to the beach in Lithuania, which is a little like going to the beach in Bayfield, except think further north. It rained pretty much and was 68 degrees, so not really great swimming beach weather. But
well, we're glad you're back.
Yes,
glad to have some time with the
family.
family.
Got to do Pat's show while I was there, which was a real honor. In the afternoons, Pat's drive time.
The only way he'll do a morning show is in the afternoon. Right?
It turned out Kreitlow is very big in Eastern Europe in the afternoons.
Yes,
in drive time, late night.
My numbers there were incredible.
He dominates drive time in Slovenia.
Yes.
No, it was great. That was fun. Trygve didn't have to get up early in the morning to appear on Pat's program, so that was great. I'd be remiss if we've been talking about this last couple of days, and Trygve, you've been traveling, so perhaps you didn't hear, but Milwaukee, the greater Milwaukee area, southeast Wisconsin, has been hit particularly hard over the weekend by flash flooding. And I know many people in our listening area in Milwaukee, WAUK, Milwaukee, Glendale, Menominee Falls, Wauwatosa, all those places. Many people are still literally digging out sewage and water and whatnot out of their basements. Many people can no longer be in those homes. And so our thoughts, our hearts, our prayers, good vibes to them. I know that Mayor Cavalier Johnson in Milwaukee has declared emergency declaration there. Also, County Administrator or Executive Paul Farrow in Waukesha County. Governor Evers has done what he can to declare an emergency area. But, Pat, I want to get your thoughts on what is this holdup, because so far we haven't it's been a couple of hours since I was able to check. But to date, that I know of, the Trump administration has yet to declare a federal disaster in that part of Wisconsin, which is holding up FEMA help. But it seems like, to me, this should be a time where people should be able to set aside politics to get real help.
Well, somebody needs to just remind Donald Trump that Wisconsin actually went for Donald Trump in the election, because that apparently is how you decide whether disaster areas get aid. There are still places from storms last year waiting on aid. California is still waiting on aid. And frankly, and look, go ahead and call me negative, call me cynical. I don't care. I've seen enough of this guy that it would not surprise me. Would not surprise me in the least if he did declare a declaration for Waukesha County and Ozaukee County and Washington County. Am I missing somebody? Yes, I am. Would he do that? Yes, he would.
Trygve, thoughts?
I agree with Pat. I think it is. I think just about anywhere is potentially on the table.
Yeah. Let's make it more positive, kind of, and give some thanks to Earl Ingram, who still came on the show this morning despite everything he's going through with 3 feet of water in his basement. And I asked him going into the segment, I said, was your basement finished? And he said it's finished 2 times over. It was finished, and now it is finished. So
wow.
He and so many other people, I mean, they have to rip everything out, because in his case, in a lot of people's cases, it came up through the sewer, is what backed up. And our hearts are really with them, and I really hope our federal government is with them. But it's not the kind of thing you should have to hope for. We pay our taxes for a reason.
Yeah, totally agree. I know, very many thanks for Earl for having taken the time to come on your show this morning, Pat. I know been listening to our friend and colleague Jane Matnair, who lives kind of on the border of Wauwatosa and Milwaukee. She's been open on her show. She had a few inches, not feet, but inches of clear water, non-sewage water, and that was a hard enough thing to deal with. So our friends, our colleagues are dealing with this. I'm just getting, because I just believe that we should all band together in times like these. So, I listen to a lot of civic stuff and occasionally go over and listen to other radio as well. And I just want to give out a shout to Steve Scafidi on TMJ, because I think he had a really important point. And rather than saying another network, I just think it's important that all of us in broadcasting band together. If we have a signal in the Milwaukee area, to work together. And he made this point today on their show, is if you know a veteran or an elderly person in your neighborhood that doesn't have family around, go knock on their door and just check on them. Because we're getting into this time, 48 hours after an event like this, where mold could be life-threatening. And they could be, so I mean, and sometimes people that are shut in just get overwhelmed and they don't know who to call and they just hunker. And so let's check on each other, folks, in the Milwaukee area, on WAUK's listening area. Check on one another and make sure that we're all okay, because we should be in this together.
Please be specific about that when you talk about this is in the Milwaukee area, because we're getting to the age now that when you say check on the elderly, Trigby and I both hear the doorbells ring and we're like, we're fine. We're fine.
Yeah, I know.
Trigby, what is that juice box that you keep going back to? Does Metamucil come in a juice box now? What is?
No,
Okay.
Premier Protein.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Let's
When
spend
you
a
get
couple
old,
minutes.
Pat, you gotta keep yourself in good shape if you're gonna go out and play hockey with the children.
Let's spend a couple of minutes here before the break. Trigby, you live just outside of Washington, D.C. This week, Donald Trump announced, and did it very quickly, never included the mayor of Washington, D.C. in this. You had to watch it on a press conference like the rest of us did. Took a federal control of the police force, the Metropolitan Police Force in Washington, D.C. We have active duty military now, or I should say at least for now, a National Guard, but threatening to put national or active duty military on the streets in D.C. What, you live in that area? What have you seen so far? What's the vibe like so far?
I got to be honest with you, Todd. I go into the district so rarely. I'm like the worst suburban guy ever. I think if you were to count the number of times I've been in the district since the beginning of the year, I can only think of 2 off the top of my head. But so I don't really know what's going on.
You haven't been on the streets,
Beyond the fact that I do know that, violent crime has been down in the district for something like 30 years. It ebbs and flows. There was a little bit after the pandemic. I just think, what we're seeing here is classic autocrat, right? Create the chaos, or claim that there's chaos, and use whatever you have to use. In this case, a guy named Big Balls getting beaten up, who was part of Doge. So Trump probably knew him, but use that as the pretext. Spread your message far and wide to your supporters that there is this unknown problem, that it really is a problem where you've just made the problem, and then respond by doing something that solidifies power. And I think it's not, it's a really bad sign that you're going to be deploying National Guard in sort of uncertain circumstances, and some of the other things they're talking about. It's antithetical to what the United States has always been. And quite frankly, in some cases, it may not even be constitutional.
Pat?
And as bad as it is, and it is bad, but let's again keep in mind what this is at its heart. It is also a distraction to try to get people not to talk about Trump showing up in the Epstein files. They're throwing anything at the wall to see what sticks, and they're willing to go further if need be.
We're going to come back, talk more about what's going on in Washington, D.C., Epstein files. A little bit of a takeover, at least on the streets and the police department there. Also talk a little baseball for you on the other side as well. Some words from Christian Yelich. The Brewers are up right now 2-0 on parts of the Civic Media Ready Network, where you're listening to the Allbaugh Show across Wisconsin. Stay tuned.
Nation 92.7 WMDX.
Got two cuts. What do you want to do, gentlemen? One cut is of Kristen Yelich talking about why Milwaukee is so special. And the second one is Joe Rogan talking about why all these other things are a distraction from the Epstein files.
Great to see you. What are you doing in the studio?
Well, I need to talk to you about
I'm
doing
certainly
a
happy with
commercial.
either. I'm prepared to talk about either one.
On the air here. You just go down
Trigby,
to the sales
you wanna
booth.
do
It's right next
either?
to the bathroom.
I don't think you understand.
You know, I'll.
Pat, you're here. Only one more segment, so you get to choose.
Let's go with Rogan then, because I mean,
All right.
nothing against Yelich, but I mean, Midwest Nice, that's evergreen. You can run that anytime during the hour.
All right, very good.
I want to tell potential business owners out there how to contact me to get a commercial on WMDX.
Okay, I get it. Okay, let's come up with something.
Trivia, I need to know well, we can talk off the air, but a time when you want to meet tomorrow or Friday, whenever we're doing it.
Oh,
I haven't heard
for
it.
that
I haven't
other
heard a
thing?
time. Yeah,
Did they come back and say tomorrow? Or
I haven't seen anything yet. No. So your schedules, other than my 2 hours on the air, your schedule is the next most difficult. So I just need a time from you, and then I can do the rest.
Tomorrow. Tomorrow's a disaster. Friday, I'm good anytime except for noon to 1.
All right, noon to 1 Eastern out for Trigby on Friday. All right, I'll follow up on those emails. Do we know what Matt wanted to hit on? Oh, international politics question for Trivia. Okay, Matt, I know you can probably hear us on the phone line. I think we're going to do Rogan next, and
3-0 Brewers.
nice. And then, so it's up to you, Matt. You can either keep on holding, or we'll get to international stuff after the bottom of the hour break with Trigby. Laid out in the dog days of August sun on his pier in beautiful Lake Wissota in the afternoon. You can hear him every morning from 6 until 9. The suntan, the rested, the ready. Pat Kreitlow of Mornings of Pat Kreitlow joins us from his studios on the aforementioned Lake Wissota, and joining us from the Tony suburbs of Washington, D.C., Arlington, Virginia, Trigby Olson, senior advisor to the Lincoln Project. Gentlemen, the Milwaukee Brewers trying to go for 12 in a row at AmFam Field in Milwaukee on many of these stations across civic media have just gone up now 3-0.
Correction, 4 now.
Really? Is my feed is behind that much? Holy macaroni!
Oh, it happened back to back. Third run and the fourth run came
did it?
pretty
All
quickly
right.
here. So yeah, you'll see
Yeah,
the update soon.
So how about that?
4-0
Right
in
now,
the fourth.
thank you, Pat. Appreciate that. Brewers have a 7.5 game lead on the Chicago Cubs in the National League Central. More importantly, for a lot of people across Wisconsin, the Brewers going to win today. It's free hamburgers at George Webb. More on that later. I know you're not supposed to talk about it, but they're up 4-0. I feel pretty good right now. Not feeling so great if you're in the Trump White House these days, because you kind of hope that the people that got you there will stick with you. Joe Rogan, we don't play a lot of Joe Rogan on this show, but occasionally, because the reason I do is I think it's important to acknowledge one of these bigger silos where people are getting their news and information from, and Joe Rogan certainly has a larger silo in the podcast sphere and in the information sphere. Was kind of a Trump guy going into the election, speaks to a certain amount of people. He recently, I met this week, I think a day or two ago, he had this to say, just putting it down there where the chickens could get at it, on the Epstein files and Trump and the distractions. Here's Joe Rogan.
So here's what I don't get. He's been sitting on the Epstein files this whole time, and every time someone brings it up, suddenly there's some brand new emergency. Putin gets to keep part of Ukraine. Job numbers are fake. Let's investigate Letitia James. Investigate Jack Smith. It's like, dude, just release the files. if your name's not in there, you'd think you'd want everyone to see him, right? But instead, it's constant shiny distractions, while the one thing that matters just stays locked up. Look, man, if you still think he's playing 4D chess, I hate to break it to you, the guy's barely playing checkers, and he's eating the pieces. I mean, come on, how much before you realize your alpha male is just an 80-year-old dude with early dementia spray tanning his face at 3 a.m. while rage tweeting about Rosie?
Joe Rogan of the Joe Rogan Experience, Pat Kreitlow.
Well, first off, okay, I'm glad when he has these moments of recognition, because he far too often has these moments where he's doing little more than spreading misinformation, all in the name of thinking out loud. I'm just thinking out loud. He reminds me of that Edward R. Murrow saying, just because your voice reaches halfway around the world doesn't mean you are any wiser than when it only reached to the other end of the bar. And so if he's figured it out, then I don't know what's stopping other people. And frankly, very little is stopping other people except the most devoted acolytes. There are, I'm confident, so many more people that have now turned on Trump than before, simply because this one seems pretty easy. And I don't mean easy like, he did something or he didn't do something. I just mean easy like he flip-flopped on this on a dime, and people are right to be suspicious.
Jim in Brookfield, listening to WAUK, says, quote, I would hardly call Joe Rogan a person of substance. However, his media reach should not be underestimated. If Vice President Harris had gone on his show a couple of times, the results might have been different. Thanks, Jim in Brookfield. Trigby?
I think, at the end of the day, the thing about dealing with sort of autocratic actors and what they do that's hard for people to wrap their heads around is somebody like Joe Rogan might not have been your ally at one point, but when he's speaking the way he was just speaking, he's your ally, and hence you're on the same side as Joe Rogan. And all right, good. Maybe Joe Rogan continues it, maybe he doesn't, but in this moment, you would think that that's helping to at least raise some questions in the minds of the people who listen to him and view him as factual. Hence, if you know somebody who's like that, it's a good time, and you're concerned about what's happening, it's a good time to engage that person, not about what you think, but about what are they thinking and how do you move them to be seeing what I think is pretty obvious, which clearly Joe Rogan has seen. Donald Trump is in the Epstein files, and quite frankly, probably spent a lot of time with Jeffrey Epstein.
Pat, before I let you go, I want to get your take on this. Kelda Royce was on our show yesterday. I know she's been on your show a number of times. Other potential and Democratic candidates for governor been on. I want to get your take as a Democrat, a former state senator in the legislature. What's your opinion? What are Democratic candidates for governor? What's going to be the key to winning that nomination?
It's going to be winnability. It's going to be who can win in a statewide contest against somebody who's going to be a Trump conservative. It might be Bill Berrien. I'm sure it won't be, but it might be a Bill Berrien who is now taking the side of mass shooters. He believes mass shooters have more rights than our children have rights to not be murdered. And I know you're going to get into that, but it's going to be somebody in that vein. And so, who is the right person to go up against them? And I know that sounds like it's a lot of theater, for example, but these are candidates that won't have a lot of disagreements on policy. So it really is going to come down to, in many cases, style points. Kelda Royce is going to point to her experience. Sarah Rodriguez is going to point to her time as lieutenant governor. I'm confident others are going to get into the race, and they're all looking at this race the way that Tony Evers got the nomination. He looked like the guy who had the best chance against Scott Walker, and it worked. And that's probably what's going to rule the roost this next year, too.
We're going to come back on the other side for the Pam Jahnke Midwest Farm Report update, because Kelda Royce gave, when I asked her about how she wins the nomination, she gave, in my opinion, a very non-standard Democratic answer. I want Trigby's opinion on that on the other side. But Pat Kreitlow always gives interesting takes and opinions every morning from 6 until 9 on Mornings with Pat Kreitlow. Thank you, Mr. Kreitlow. Have a nice afternoon in Lake Wissota.
6-0 Brewers, you bet. Gonna do it. Bye.
Yes! Bye-bye. See you later. Come on back. The Allbaugh Show on Civic Media.
you really think viability is going to be the key and not how progressive they are?
Yeah. Yeah. I think that, well, not that that won't matter in the primary, but yeah, I think viability is and not that people are going to say that, but they're going to be thinking it. They're willing to go, I might like that person better, but I got to go with somebody who's going to win. And that doesn't bode well if, I don't want to be one of those people that says so and so can't win because, they are part of this group or that group. But that is going to be in the back of a lot of voters' minds this time around, and it's not fair. But the alternative is to turn things over to another fascist, and the stakes are too high. That's my 2 cents.
That's great because we'll play the cut on when we come back for Trigby. But Trigby, when I asked Kelly, I said, well, McCoshin says it's going to come down to the Trump endorsement for Republicans. What's it going to take for you guys to win the Democratic nomination? And without hesitation, she said, Todd, I'm not running for the Democratic nomination. I'm running to be governor. And that's why I want to appeal to people all across the state. I thought that was a really smart answer out of the gate.
Yeah,
Well,
I
that's
think that's
part of the
super smart.
viability is looking like the moderate, not looking like the crazy flamethrower lefty. So
But
speaking of
that's why-
which, I've got to go put up your Keldabite. I had it all written. I'm just about to go post it because somebody made a little news yesterday. So good on you.
Thanks, Patrick. Appreciate it.
See you guys.
All right, bye-bye.
There's only one silage break that's been
No, I just thought it was really, really smart. But I'm glad you asked Pat that question, Trigby, because I agree that that's been my fear all along. Not maybe fear, but concern is that the nominee is going to have to run so far left to get the nomination that it makes them much more difficult to win the general.
That's certainly how the National Democratic Party has been running things.
I mean, especially like I know a lot of people are kind of poo-pooing Josh Joman, but I don't know, man. Like I saw him out the campaign trail for an afternoon in Eau Claire or in Chippewa Falls. He's good. If he can raise the money, he would be a very viable candidate. So we'll see.
Yeah.
All right, Matt, we'll go international for you when we come back. I'm sorry. I guess we gotta play the Kelder Royce cut because I teased that. So we'll do the Kelder Royce cut, Matt, and then we'll go international and take your call if you want to hang with us that long.
Consumer Protection says right now retail prices continue to rise, and despite that, beef consumption year to date 4% higher than it was last year. That's just a little update on what's happening in food and farming news on a Wednesday. More available anytime at MidwestFarmReport.com.
I can't believe the Brewers are up 6-0. That's great.
as Wisconsin is taking on Bucky Badger. This is the Civic Media Radio Network.
A sunny, calm, and comfortable day today with high temperatures scraping the low 80s. Winds are out of the northwest, barely moving, and with clear skies tonight, lows slide to about 60 degrees. Then tomorrow, we stay sunny, becoming a touch more muggy. Highs will still hit the low 80s. I'm meteorologist Brittany Merlot. Right now, 78 degrees.
For 75 years, the Muscular Dystrophy Association's voices have thundered through the halls of Congress.
For 75 years, we've willed the impossible into existence.
For 75 years, the MDA community has pushed the science,
Shifted the narrative,
and established the
I like
field
your
of
I like your
neuromuscular
hoodie.
medicine.
Until that
Trigby.
day when this is all a thing
Yeah.
of the past.
For
You
those,
couldn't
well, I
stop
guess
us
people can
if
hear
you
us right
tried.
now and can also see
Join
on the
us
stream
and
the
celebrate
Team
75
USA.
years of breakthroughs at MDA
Yeah, I don't even
75.
know
Kind of a
why.
tie-dye thing. Yeah.
A Night Light
thing
with Pete
forever.
Schwaba.
Actor Neil McDonough. If you saw his face or if you Google him right
I don't know
now,
which
you'll
Olympics
recognize
it
him. He
was.
refuses
I
to
think
kiss another
somebody-
woman
one of
on
my
camera. On the one hand, I applaud him for not kissing anyone other than his wife, but she says I don't have a problem with him
30 seconds.
to kiss.
Gracias. From the shores of the Kitchigumi, that's Lake Superior, down to the shores of Lake Michigan in beautiful Milwaukee, Green Bay, home of your Packers, to the Mississippi River. The Old Miss is in La Crosse, where we were last week. Glad to have you along on the Todd Allbaugh Show. It is now 35 minutes past the hour of 2 o'clock. Many thanks to Pat Kreitlow for joining us as he does every Wednesday. You can tune him in every morning, Monday through Friday, 6 until 9 on the Civic Media Radio Network for Mornings with Pat Kreitlow. Joining us for the rest of this hour, our friend, our colleague, our ongoing contributor, River Falls boy, graduate of UW Eau Claire, the Blue Golds, as they call them. Now the senior advisor to the Lincoln Project, joining us from just outside of Washington, D.C., Mr. Trygve Olsen, who's recovering from a little jet lag, was over in Europe. But he's back. And look, even a jet-lagged Trygve is kind enough to join us. So there you go. That song, Rattle My Bones, apparently.
Yep, that's the tune, By the Suburbs.
By the Suburbs. Jeff Perry, our friend and ongoing contributor, dialing it in on Facebook. We appreciate that, Mr. Perry. He knew exactly right away. Big fan, apparently. So Trygve had a jet-lagged Trygve. By the way, I know, Trygve, you are a... one of your few, you don't have many faults at all. I'm not sure I'll call it a fault, but other than because he grew up in the greater Twins market area, he happens to be a Twins fan. But you don't hate the Brewers necessarily. But you're a Twins fan. But the Brewers now up 6-3. Pittsburgh making a little bit of a game of it here at the top of the fifth. They were up 6-0. Pirates have scored 3 so far here in the fifth. Many of those are Civic Media stations carrying that game right now. We'll continue to update it for you. Trygve, before the break, talking a little bit about the Wisconsin gubernatorial race. Now, to correct the record, because you filled in one day and you were interviewing Kelda Royce yourself, Senator Royce, and you said you'd walk back to Wisconsin to help her out if she ran. And I then didn't hear that right away, and I came on and said, well, Trygve said the two people he'd come back to walk Wisconsin for governor are Republican Bill McCoshen, who has said he's not going to run this time, and former Wisconsin Democratic Party Chair Ben Wickler, who has not made a decision yet. And I forgot to add Senator Royce in. So she's also one.
Yeah,
that's correct.
It's true.
Right?
And, it's the same underlying rationale, right? Like, I would agree or disagree, my personal politics more with some than others. But at the end of the day, with each of those three, they pass the most important tests. One, they genuinely care about the state of Wisconsin. 2, they're proud to be from Wisconsin and will get out and be a cheerleader for the state constantly. And 3, they understand foundationally what are the things that have made the state such a unique place: conservation and our outdoor lifestyle, protection of the University of Wisconsin system, the public education that's the core of our small town communities, and that those are drivers of our economic well-being. And so, while they might have differences, certainly a McCoshen administration would be different than a Royce administration from a point of emphasis. But at the end of the day, what we need to be looking for is, first of all, are the politicians, are they good people who care about the common good of whatever they're being elected to represent? And 2, are they going to defend those things that make those places unique and special? And I think that way, whether it's president of the United States or a state legislator or county
Senator
board.
Royce was on this program yesterday. I want to play you her main answer here, Trygve, and get your input on this as someone who's run political races nationally and, of course, here in Wisconsin as well. Here was Senator Royce's response when I asked her point blank range on this program yesterday whether or not she was going to run for the governor in the state of Wisconsin.
I am pretty likely to run for governor in 2026.
I think you made a little bit of news here.
I can't make an announcement this very second, but when I think about the opportunities that we have in our state and the need for a really strong leader with a lot of experience getting things done in a politically purple state, I feel really excited about my chances and about what we could do together in this state.
Any idea of a timeline for an official announcement on running for governor?
Well, certainly my plan is to wait until people are a little bit more engaged and paying attention. I don't think anybody needs a 13-month primary. I really hope. I hope everybody's out here listening to your show, but I hope they're doing it at the pool or on a nice hike, or getting their kids yet another snack, right? And then once we're back into the swing of things with fall, I think there will be some opportunities for.
So
make a big announcement.
After Labor Day, perhaps?
I think that's probably consistent.
All right, after kids get back into school. And, of course, you represent EW-Madison. Things getting back in the swing there. A couple of minutes left here. If you were, and it sounds like you're likely to run for governor, what would be your one or two top priorities?
Well, I think the main thing is lowering costs for families, right? We have got to get more money in people's pockets because so many Wisconsinites are feeling economically strained right now. And they have every reason to be. And it's only going to get worse under the Trump recession that we have coming, and the chaos and the corruption that's coming out of Washington, the horrible, devastating cuts that we're seeing in the budget. That is going to devastate the states. That is really an attack on states like Wisconsin, and every Wisconsinite, right? So we really have to make sure that we have a governor that is ready to do the hard thing and stand up for Wisconsin families against cuts at the federal level, and invest in the things that we need, like public education, healthcare, our infrastructure, our roads.
It looks like maybe Tom Tiffany's going to get on the Republican side, maybe not. They're all focused so far, and it appears, Bill Bacasha said in this program that they're after Donald Trump's endorsement. It seems like they're going after one person. What's it going to take to win the Democratic endorsement? Is there a particular constituency, or what do you have to do to win the endorsement or the nomination first?
Well, I think, my plan is I'm not going to be running for the Democratic nomination. I'm running for governor. And I want to appeal to people all across the state in every geographic region, in every demographic case. I don't think you should ever try to be a governor or an executive if you think that you should only be appealing to certain demographics. I don't like breaking people down and putting them in categories with labels. I think, whether you agree with me or disagree with me on an issue, I owe you the truth about my ideas and my willingness to listen. That's the kind of governor I want to be, and I think that's the kind of governor that Wisconsinites want and deserve.
State Senator State Senator Keller Royce on our program yesterday. Trigby, put on your political consultant hat for a minute. You hear that from a state senator, longtime Democrat who is running into primary. What are your first thoughts?
I mean, it's a winning message, right? Like, does it complicate things potentially? In a primary? I don't know enough about winning Democrat primaries to know. I'll take Pat's counsel. But it is a message that is set out that can appeal to both, should be able to appeal to people across the state of Wisconsin, most of the spectrum outside of hardcore sort of MAGA and people who vote always Republican. And that's kind of what you're looking for at this point in a race.
I was just impressed the fact that she immediately said, look, I'm running for governor, not for the Democratic nomination. And the fact that, look, she's been involved in Democratic politics a long time, was in the Assembly before going to the state Senate, ran for Congress once in a primary, ran before against Evers in a primary for governor. So I think that I'm not speaking for her, but my thought would be that, look, I mean, I think she feels pretty confident about her base, that she's known to the Democratic base. So I think she's kind of like, I shouldn't have to reintroduce myself to the Democratic base. I'm going to start right from the gate, trying to be inclusive and almost focus on in general. I think it's a pretty good message.
Yeah, I think it's a really good message. Really good message. And it gets to sort of why I was saying that, somebody like you or me who might not agree with her solutions on all policies can believe that she would do a good job of representing the state and moving the state in a better direction, and maybe one that's more unified around finding common solutions with who's ever in the legislature to protect and augment and build off of those things that have been the foundation of what makes Wisconsin such an awesome place.
It's 44 minutes past the hour of 2 o'clock. The Milwaukee Brewers got out of that tough fifth inning, I believe 6-3 now. Brewers up on the Pirates going to the bottom of the fifth inning. We're talking with Trygve Olsen, senior advisor of the Lincoln Project. Trygve, let's change gears a little bit. Going to be what's being billed, although they're kind of talking it down, a summit between President Donald Trump and the president of Russia, Vladimir Putin. Some reports that Zelensky of Ukraine may end up being there as well. Maybe not. We don't know yet. But the auspices were a summit between Putin and Trump in Alaska, of all places, to somehow negotiate an end to the war in Ukraine. But that's looking less and less like it might happen. I wanted to go to the phone lines right away. Matt in Middleton's been waiting a long time. Matt, I appreciate your patience because you wanted to have you had a question for trivia on this international topic. Go ahead.
Hey guys, thanks for what you do again. So internationally, around the world, we have this far-right, nationalistic, autocratic cabal, India, Pakistan, Hungary, Russia, China in one way, but they're a little different. But the far right, this group that wants the theocratic, autocratic, Putin-esque kind of government that's very nationalistic, they have a lot of influence online. They have a lot of money. They've been working their message for a while, and Trump has certainly given them a lot of confidence, having won again. So my question is, internationally, do you see any buildup on the more traditional conservative liberal side, like everybody else? Are they pooling their resources or trying to mount a resistance, or what do you see on that front? Thank you.
That's a fantastic question, and it's something that with all I've done and sort of do, that I've grappled with and I've talked with a lot of people about it. The hard answer is there's a lot of people talking about it, but it has not necessarily come about in the way that it probably needs to. I had a conversation with some people in Europe about, would it make sense to have almost a big like Davos of democracy someplace where people from all over would come in and talk about what's happening in their individual places. Part of that I think is because for so long, it was just the consensus of the West, broader West, Europe and the United States, to work together on these things at a governmental level. Now that's not the case. And quite frankly, we've, as a country, at a time when those others, like I think both MAGA and non-MAGA would agree, China probably doesn't have our best interests at heart. Russia, same. We've eliminated, I wrote a Substack post about this. We eliminated 2,000 frontline diplomats. That would be like getting rid of fighter pilots in the military when your enemy is building their military. Just not. So it's kind of a long answer to say no, but there are a lot of people sort of moving around, and at some point that has to happen.
Isn't it ironic, Trigby, or maybe just sad, that these summits you're talking about? I can remember when I worked for Klug in the 90s and the German Marshall Fund, which is still a very prominent a player around the world, but particularly in Europe. They would invite the United States to come in and have summits like this on democracy about other places in the world, and now other places are talking about us.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy, really, when you think about it.
Yeah, it really is. Come on back, talk a little sports and maybe a little more politics as well with Trigby Olson, Senior Advisor, Lincoln Project. More after this in the Allbaugh Show on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Reach, engage, grow with
You want to
Civic
talk a
Media.
little bit more
Log
on Friday or not?
civicmedia.us/advertise.
But do you want to talk anything else on this Putin-Trump summit on Friday or not?
Yeah, we can talk about it. I think it would be good to talk about
Grab a seat on the gorgeous patio and enjoy the breathtaking view. Catch live music every Thursday evening at their Sun Prairie location and sip from 48
Are you staying
beers on
into
tap
the
or
second
glass of
hour
your
for what's
favorite
worse, or
wine.
you got to head out?
Craving something amazing? The pizza
I
and
am
pasta
staying.
are melting
Oh,
in
very
mouth
good. All
delicious.
I
And
love
yes,
what's worse.
they shape it.
An
Make it a
extra,
summer to savor.
it's a
And where do
French
I have to
fry.
go? I'm a single guy with no wife and kids at at the moment, so that's kind of.
And I haven't
I'd rather hang out with you, Todd.
I haven't uttered the phrase "I got a problem" because once you do, he's gone.
There's another phrase you were going to use that you didn't to talk about where Trigby is.
Oh yeah, that's right. I used it at the top of the show. I said I said demilitarized.
Is that crime in Milwaukee is down considerably when compared to the same time as last year. Mayor Johnson cited double-digit year-to-date decreases in robberies, arsons, aggravated assaults, vehicle thefts, carjackings, and non-fatal shootings. While Milwaukee certainly has its challenges, is this another dog whistle? It is also worth noting that the Milwaukee Police Association is in ongoing negotiations with the city on their union contract. With the City of Milwaukee budget process coming up, there's always a tension on how much the city invests in law enforcement versus how much they spend on preventative measures like the Office of Violence Prevention.
Find all of Dan's work at the Recombobulation area.
You want to feel important.
You want to be part of something bigger, something that matters and can help change things.
You want to feel like you belong.
We know. We felt that way too. And that's why we did something about it.
We aren't just Army National Guard soldiers.
We are normal people just like you. But our part-time service in the Army National Guard means we get to be more.
When our communities are in need, we get the chance to stand up and do something about it.
We get to serve in our own region and help the people we call neighbors.
From the lake shores of Ohio, Michigan, Wisconsin, and Minnesota.
The fertile fields of Indiana, Illinois, and Iowa to the wide open plains of North and South Dakota.
We are here for our hometowns.
And together, we can make a difference. Take on your legacy. Visit NationalGuard.com to find out more.
Sponsored by the Wisconsin Army National Guard. Aired by the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association and this station.
Shop Burlow Mattresses Mega Mattress Sale. Get additional savings on top of our factory direct pricing. That's double the savings on your new mattress.
30 seconds.
Hurry
All
and
right,
get
thank you.
savings on top of savings during Burlow's Mega Mattress Sale. Wake up, sleep better. Burlow.
Snakes, zombies, public speaking. The list of fears is endless. But the real danger is in your hand when you're behind the wheel. Distracted driving is what's really scary and even deadly. Eyes forward, don't drive.
Love stinks. Love stinks. Love stinks. Love stinks.
Welcome back to the Todd Allbaugh Show on the Civic Media Radio Network. 8 minutes now before the hour of 3 o'clock and hour number 2. Little what's worse for you today, a French fry edition. We'll talk about that. Trygve Olsen, senior advisor to the Lincoln Project, has stuck around here. Going to talk about love. Have you heard? Did you see this, Trygve? I don't want to get into it deep right now. He's hurt. They put him in the first game for preseason.
He tore ligaments in his thumb. I've done that.
I know.
I did that playing hockey. It's not on his throwing hand. He'll be fine. Honestly,
when I
tore ligaments in my hand, when I tore ligaments in my hand, they put a cast on me because the guy and it was my right hand. It annoyed me so bad. I got over to Lithuania 3 days after they put the cast on. I paid $100. I walked into a clinic and said, cut this thing off. I can't stand it. And the guy said, I don't think you should do that, the doctor. And I said, do you want the $100 or not? He cut it off.
That's classic Trygve.
And now exactly like the orthopedist said, I have arthritis in my thumb. So
imagine that. Imagine that.
Yeah.
Welcome back. We'll talk Packers here a little bit later with Trygve. Want to give you an update now. Going to the top of the 6th inning in Milwaukee at AmFam Field. Brewers up on Pittsburgh 6-3. Got out of that jam in the 5th, and so the Brewers on now leading Pittsburgh 6-3, trying to get that 12th win in a row for those George Webb hamburgers. We'll continue on with that. Quick call, 855-752-4842. Dick listening in Madison. Dick wanted to make a quick comment on the Brew Crew. What do you got, Dick?
Yeah, on the Brew Crew and real quick on martial law in Washington. The Brew Crew, what is their longest winning streak? Do you know? I stumped
like
Maggie
ever?
Dawn of all people.
Ever? Yeah. I believe it was 13 games in 1987.
Yep, and I gave her the hint of telling her it was on a holiday,
right?
In early spring.
Yeah,
It was
Easter.
on Easter Sunday.
Yep, I listened. I was working at RCL, Richland Center, engineering that game of all things. But go ahead.
Can I ask you guys a question? You're
Sure.
both big Brewers fans.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what AmFam Field and US Bank Stadium have in common?
What do they have in common, Trigby? Do you know,
Same
Dick?
number of Dick? Do you know?
Do not know.
Same number of championship trophies.
Well, okay, but if you count the Milwaukee Braves winning the World Championship on the same site, come on.
You don't get to count that. You sound like a Viking fan. You sound like your team plays in US Bank Stadium, Todd.
Wow. All right, Dick, what do you got quickly on authoritarianism in D.C.?
Well, I wish I could have came up with it, but Malcolm Nance did this morning. He said, "What happened to the city that was plenty safe enough to have his little parade this spring, and now it's the worst place in the world?"
Right. Great point.
Kind of funny, huh?
Yeah, right. I mean, I said yesterday, Trigby, on the show that Trigby's he's right. Is this kid in Doge, 19-year-old under Elon Musk that went on social media and called himself Big Balls, quote unquote? He got attacked by a group of feral teenage girls, and they spit on him. And along with give him a bloody nose. And honest to God, this is what triggered Trump to do all this, because Big Balls got beat up by teenage girls and got spit on. And I said the irony is that Capitol police officers were spat on, beaten, and some died, and still, Trigby, Trump didn't want to call the National Guard for that.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, here's the thing. I don't, as I said, I don't go in the district a lot. But I will tell you this, my daughter, who's a junior, she's an incoming junior. Did you know they all call themselves rising? Like, I'm a rising sophomore. I hate that. They're incoming. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. But
I did not know that.
Yeah, I know, seriously.
Zomer seemed to know, but I did not.
Yeah, right. Rising. Really? Come on. But so she and her friends go to see women's basketball, and they'll go, there's a group of them that like to go, and they go to a restaurant every couple of months together, and it's kind of
in the
fancy.
district.
They all get dressed up in the district all by themselves. And maybe I'm naive, but if I really thought that going to, DuPont Circle to a restaurant was something that was dangerous for them, it's not like they're going into Mogadishu and or whatever. I mean,
well, my point's always been there are places in Madison I wouldn't go at 3:00 in the morning. I mean, just use your head. Use your head.
Honestly, if Big Balls was out walking around all messed up and got his ass, got his hind end kicked by a bunch of girls, like.
Apparently, they're very mean girls. Very mean girls.
Apparently, yeah. I forget what's the name of the girl who starred in that show, Mean Girls. There's got to be somebody in the audience
Lindsay
that
Lohan?
knows that.
There, that's it. Zomer's
Lindsay
got
Lohan.
it.
Yeah, see, Zomer's. Yeah, my daughters love that movie. I don't really get
It's
it.
a fun movie.
It's a little bit like Pretty in Pink. I never understood that one either.
That's a good movie.
Yeah,
got a minute left,
it's not as
Trigby.
good as The Sure Thing.
No.
You're gonna go with John Cusack movies.
Minute left. Any final thoughts on the summit, so-called summit between Trump and Putin on Friday?
Yeah, I mean, I just think, people need to look at this through the lens of is the ultimate outcome of this really in everybody's long-term best interest, or is what the deal that gets caught in the short-term best interest of the two guys sitting there? And that will tell you everything you need to know about the state of where America is versus where it was. Reagan walked away from a deal with Gorbachev in Reykjavik. Does anybody think that Donald Trump is going to walk away from it? Donald Trump seems to be doing what he's doing, driven by some narcissistic need to win a Nobel Prize because Obama got one. Did Ronald Reagan operate that way? Did George W. Bush? That's really, I think, what's most important.
Come on back. Hour 2 straight ahead. McDonald's fries or Five Guys fries? What's worse on the other side? Also, talk a little bit about Jordan Love. Trigby says he knows exactly what will cure you. Come on back after this for Hour 2 on the Civic Media Radio Network. My sister, watching on Facebook, says The Sure Thing is one of the most overlooked John Cusack movies.
A Civic Media station.
Your sister is a wise woman. It is one of the most overlooked and one of the best movies ever. Ever. Hands down, best
protest
Gen
Republican plans
X
to redraw congressional maps could soon return to the Capitol. ABC's Avery Harper has more.
The Texas
So
Governor
good.
Greg Abbott, he is going to call another special session.
Pirates
on
making a
Friday.
comeback.
So it's
Two-run
possible that we could
homer.
see
It's now
this all
6-5.
And we do know that
Brewers.
Texas House Democrats, the legislators in that state who have
I don't like
fled the
this.
state,
Don't like it
they
at all.
say that they're going to be issuing demands for the special session, the second special session that we're expected to see called on Friday.
Ahead of Friday's in-person meeting with Russia's Vladimir Putin in Alaska, President Trump held a virtual call with Ukraine's President Zelensky and
Don't
European
like it at
leaders.
all.
The president says it was a good call.
All right, be right
and
back.
will push for a ceasefire. 4 people are dead in Tennessee after flooding in Chattanooga. A tree fell on a car, killing 2 adults and a child. And fire officials say they've located the body of a man believed to have been swept away by floodwaters. This is ABC News.
As Wisconsin has a fish fry on a Friday night, this is the Civic Media Radio Network.
For 92.7 WMDX News, I'm Savannah Tomei Olson. A Southern Wisconsin congressman now has another challenger. Here's Stuart J. Waddles.
Voters in southeastern Wisconsin are set for a competitive race in Congress next year. Democrat Mitchell Berman from Racine County jumped into the 1st District race yesterday, taking on Republican incumbent Brian Stile. Berman is a VA nurse and a union member who says he'll fight to bring down costs for working families. The field is shaping up ahead of next year's primaries, now less than a year away. Berman joins other Democrats Randy Bryce and Gage Stills, along with independent Adam Fulmer, in trying to unseat the 4-term Republican Stile.
And Madison school board members may give themselves a raise. Board members currently make $8,000 a year, and that number was last updated 10 years ago. They compared Madison to other districts, both in Wisconsin and of similar size across the country. In Milwaukee, school board members make $18,000 a year. Board members are also considering allowing themselves to be on the school district's insurance. Board member Ali Muldrow.
I think we have to incentivize stability on the board. And so I think in the 7 years that I've been on this board, I've worked with 13 different board members. And I think we need the role to be sustainable and healthy for people in order for them to be effective in leading long term.
Board members threw around $15,000 as an appropriate number for their pay. Meanwhile, district staff are now planning for the next phase of renovations using referendum money. Voters approved 2 referendums back in November, totaling $607 million. And a huge majority of that is going toward capital improvements and building projects. There are 4 schools that will get updates in this first phase: Gompers Elementary, Blackhawk Middle, Sherman Middle, and City High School. District leaders are starting to plan and design for those 4 schools. I'm Savannah Tomei Olson, 92.7 WMDX News.
A home run fest. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. Baseball. The Brewers wrap up their series today with the Pirates. Last night, their crew with 5 home runs to win 14-0 over Pittsburgh. Sal Frelick was the Brewers' leadoff man and hit his 9th home run of the season in his first at-bat.
It's always nice to score a lot of runs, but I'm not surprised by any means, especially when the offense is clicking like it is and we're getting great support from the pitchers.
Milwaukee with a 7.5 game lead in the Central. The Cubs losing 5-1 to the Blue Jays.
Top
NFL.
of the 6th.
The word is Jordan Love had successful
6-5.
surgery after suffering a torn ligament
Milwaukee.
in his left thumb against the Jets. How soon will he be able to practice?
I don't know until he gets back here and see how he feels. I mean, we'll see. Obviously, he'll be out this week, and then I would put it highly unlikely that he plays for Seattle. As far as the practice is concerned, I can't tell you that at this moment.
That's Packers head coach Matt LaFleur with sports. I'm Mike Clemens. As Wisconsin has a game of cribbage with good friends, this is the Civic Media Radio Network.
A sunny, calm, and comfortable day today with high temperatures scraping the low 80s. Winds are out of the northwest, barely moving, and with clear skies tonight, lows slide to about 60 degrees. Then tomorrow, we stay sunny, becoming a touch more muggy. Highs will still hit the low 80s. I'm meteorologist Brittany Merlot. Right now, 78 degrees.
Hey, Gordy, did you know Dane County Humane Society is calling on our community to help find new homes for every available animal as part of the nationwide Clear the Shelters adoption campaign running through August?
I did, John. I also heard to encourage adoptions, Dane County Humane Society will offer reduced adoption fees for a different animal group each week.
So is the dog with you, or is the dog in a kennel while the kids are
across
gone?
the country, including here in Dane County, are
The
facing
dog was
unprecedented
staying
challenges
with
slower adoptions, high
a
intake
woman
of strays
named
and
Jessie
surrendered pets,
and her
and
son,
limited
who
resources.
just
Shelters
adore
are working
Chloe,
harder than
so
ever
that's
to
where
care
she
for
was.
these
That's right,
animals.
Chloe.
DCHS is proud to serve thousands of
The
animals
dog's
each
name is
year, not
Chloe,
just through
and the
adoption, but
vacuum
also
cleaner's
by
name is what again?
reuniting lost pets
Cookie.
with their families
That's right,
and
Cookie. It's
offering
Cookie
safety
and
net
Chloe.
programs
So
for
Trigby gets to
surrounding
hang out with Cookie.
guardians.
Get the details about the
I get to-
weekly
I'm
adoption
hanging out with
specials
Chloe,
this
too.
month, and they'll be posted
Oh,
on the
okay.
Dane County Humane Society
There we
website.
go.
Give shelter.
From the Civic Media World Headquarters in Madison, Wisconsin, it's the Todd Allbaugh Show. And now, pursuing truth wherever it may lead, here's your host, Todd Allbaugh.
Wisconsin on the Civic Media Radio Network and streaming worldwide on the Civic Media app. Good afternoon, everybody. Todd Allbaugh, along with Mr. Aaron Zummers, our producer and engineer, on the board. It's 6 past the hour of 3 o'clock. Welcome into hour number 2 of the big program on this Wednesday, August 13th, 2025. It is a great day to be a Wisconsinite, and it is
Hump Day.
That's right. Halfway through the work week. Always glad to have you along here for the world headquarters of Civic Media in downtown Madison on State Street. Sunny skies. Zommers haven't seen sunny skies downtown Madison here in a bit, but not really much smoke today. Pretty nice day out there. Beautiful downtown Madison. How about that?
Yes, it is. And not too horribly hot.
No.
In my opinion.
And for Zommers to say that, that's something gives us the beautiful view there for those watching on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Look at that. You can see the blue skies in that shot right downtown. The intersection of State Street and Fairchild, where people frequently walk against the light and almost get hit.
And bike against the light as well.
And bike against the light as well. I just hope to goodness that we do not see a tragedy on camera one of these days. So far, a tragedy is being averted at AmFam Field in Milwaukee. The Brewers going for 12 straight against the Pittsburgh Pirates across many of these stations on the terrestrial radio signal. The Brewers maintain the lead by 1. Milwaukee 6, Pittsburgh 5 in the bottom of the 6th. Pittsburgh making a game of this one. Brewers pitchers have been roughed up a little bit, but that offense continues to produce. Brewers 6, Pittsburgh 5, bottom of the 6th. Will keep you updated. Trigby Olson sticking around for a bit of hour 2. Senior advisor at the Lincoln Project, but more importantly on Wednesdays, he's a River Falls boy. Favorite place in the world, coming across the bridge of the St. Croix River. How about that? Always happy to have him along. He's hanging out with the family's still over in Europe, and so you're hanging out with Cookie and Chloe.
Yes.
The dog and the robot vacuum.
Yeah, and both of them are going to go to work here in a little bit. Chloe on eating and Cookie on vacuuming and getting things clean, because on Saturday or Sunday, I guess I don't know what it says about the communication skills between Erica and I, but so I'm not
Your lovely
exactly
wife.
sure which day they're getting back here, but I am sure that if I don't have the house up to the right standards, I probably will.
Now, do Cookie and Chloe
to have a problem and a plane to catch?
Do Cookie and Chloe get along while the vacuuming's going on?
I've told you the story about when we first got Cookie and what Chloe did.
Tell a quick version, yeah.
So we got Cookie, the robotic vacuum, and my daughter Ula was setting said vacuum up. And the first thing it does is it goes all around the house. And Chloe, the bulldog, is looking at Cookie very skeptically. And then when Cookie got over by where her toys and stuff are, all of a sudden we hear this commotion and Chloe has gone completely bananas on Cookie. And so we get Chloe back settled and Cookie keeps going about its business. And Cookie goes into our master bedroom and we watch as Chloe, who'd been following Cookie around, goes trotting in there. And then about 30 seconds later, Chloe comes out with what could only be described as a look of satisfaction on her doggy face. And all of a sudden, the alarm starts going off on Cookie because Chloe has gotten in front of Cookie and taken a large, right in front of it. And Cookie ran over it and was all plugged up. And my daughter and I go in there, and because Cookie has like a brush and a wheel and other stuff, it's taken Chloe's bomb that she's dropped on Cookie and put it all, it's literally everywhere.
It was
around.
Bad news.
It was terrible. And Erica never wanted Cookie in the first place and wasn't there. And Ula and I had to scramble to get that mess cleaned up and Cookie taken apart and reset.
One more question of the story. And I've never asked you this part, I don't think. Did you and Ula actually do the cleaning, or did you hire a service to come in and do it for you?
No, we did the cleaning.
Did
we got
you
it all
really?
cleaned
Wow.
in the 2.5 hours before Erica got home.
Impressive.
God almighty.
That's
yes.
very impressive.
Ula took Cookie completely apart and had a toothbrush. I had to go get a new toothbrush at Walgreens to get it cleaned out.
Good
It was
God.
a disaster. And the whole time, Chloe just sat there on her bed looking at us like, I got you guys for bringing that stupid thing into the house.
So here, the takeaway from the story is this. If you decide to get a robotic vacuum, introduce it to your pets before you let it loose. They need to have time to warm up to
you
each
know what's
other.
crazy about the robotic vacuum thing? So Cookie is a very lower end one, but when I was looking on Amazon, they go up to almost like $1,700. They have ones that have cameras in them and you record a message to the dog. And it actually monitors the dog. Yes, it does. And it will send you a text message if your dog tries to assault your robotic vacuum cleaner. I didn't do that. But
all right. Well, speaking of assault, that's a turn very quickly. I want to, because we teased this in the first hour. I want to make sure I want to get your opinion on this, Trigby. Milwaukee Journal Sentinel today says Wisconsin residents would be able to carry concealed firearms without obtaining a state license that requires training. Under a change in state law, a Republican candidate for governor said he would seek, if elected. Whitefish Bay Manufacturing CEO Bill Berrien says he supports eliminating state permit requirements for firearm owners who want to carry guns in a concealed fashion, a policy known to supporters as constitutional carry. Trigby, I'll just go to you. What's your knee-jerk reaction on this?
I don't know. I mean, as you know, I have my guns. And I have fewer guns than I had because I inherited a boatload from my dad. And some of them I just thought, I'm going to get them to people who, knew my dad and are going to appreciate them. And some I just sold. The thing about it, though, is I think back to a story. You remember Act 10, Todd?
Oh, yeah. Unfortunately, I lived through it in the Capitol.
All right. You remember how there were all the recall elections?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wasn't living in Wisconsin at the time, but I was back seeing my parents. And they were all riled up because Sheila Harsdorf, who they've been friends with forever, she was under recall. Sheila wasn't going to get beat. Anyway, but the people on the left are all fired up about it, including a former colleague of my mom's. He was leading, marches. He's a former teacher too. So my mom and dad are getting ready to go to this rally up in Hudson. And they were like, do you want to come along? Whatever. And all of a sudden my mom and dad are having a little conflict. And my mom is like, Craig, what are you doing? And I going, and my dad has got a holster on and has his 44 in the holster. And I'm like, what in the blue HE double hockey sticks, Dad, are you doing? And he's like, well, it's like, I have a permit and it's open carry, blah, blah, blah. And I said, Dad, and he's like, there's going to be some protesters there. I said, Dad, what are you going to do? Shoot Don Richards? For God's sakes, he taught with Mom. He ushered with you at church. Like, what are you talking about? And I just think there's a level of crazy with that to a degree. I mean, I'm not for banning guns. I became a Republican because I don't want government telling me what I can and can't do. It's why I don't like government telling my daughters what they can and can't do around the issue of choices that they make, even though it isn't, I would never want them to be in a position where they're in that. But if they had to, it should be their choice. Same with guns. But it just seems like, I don't know. I mean,
to go back to,
I couldn't go hunting till I passed the hunter safety course. Make people pass a course.
Me too. I took hunter safety, Rudy Neagle, conservationist, in the basement of the Richland County Courthouse when I was 11 or 12. When I worked in the Capitol, I actually sat through a concealed carry class because my boss said, look, I want to be able to make sure we know what's going on. This is when the legislature was going on. Could you have concealed carry in Wisconsin? So they brought in a certified person, and I sat through the concealed carry class that they taught at the Capitol. There were some legislators, some staffers that were in this. And I was struck by how much time they spent going over existing laws in Wisconsin, and said, and made it very impactful that if you choose to seek a concealed carry permit, you would better understand fully the responsibility that comes with that. And if you decide to discharge your firearm, even though you have a permit, even though you feel legally in the right, expect to be arrested when authorities come. And then you're going to have to prove that you discharge that weapon legally and for reason. This is not a permit that allows you to, it's not the Wild West. Oh, here, have a gun, put it in your holster, discharge it however you want. They spent like well over an hour. And it was basically I guess I'll just use the term, it was to scare people into saying, this is not anything to fool around with. This is serious business. And you need to take the responsibility for that. Right. And so if we're going to have concealed carry in this state, I cannot fathom having constitutional carry where you're able to have that firearm on you without ever having had to take that class and understand the heavy responsibility that comes with it.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's just, same reason that somebody should take a hunter safety course. Like, it's good. Same reason people need to get a driver's license. What are we going to have constitutional drive?
Right.
I mean,
feral teenage
honestly,
drivers around.
It's performative art.
Bingo. You're exactly right, because Bill Berrien, this guy, I mean, he is one of the most unqualified people I've ever seen on either side of the aisle, just because, I mean, look, there was a lot of people that have served in the military and they're actual heroes. I don't know. I mean, it's the same. He's pulling the same card that Derek Van Orton did. He claims to be a Navy SEAL. I'll take him at his word for now. And he's running on that. And he claims to be a manufacturer and a business person. Well, Ron Johnson married into his wife's money. Look how that turned out. So this guy, he wants Trump's endorsement. He wants to be extreme. I agree with you, Trigby. It's performative, but it's also enormously irresponsible. Because as a firearm owner myself, and I believe in that, and I believe in hunting and having weapons to not only hunt, but to reasonably protect yourself. But this kind of crap from Berrien with constitutional carry and wanting to go back to the Wild West is a recipe for disaster, Trigby.
It is. I mean, imagine like some guy gets beard up, hasn't had the course, has a few too many, gets in a little dispute at a bar and ends up doing something they regret for the rest of their lives. Not just because of the consequences that they'd have to serve, but just like there's
like
just
somebody
so
finds
many,
straight, like they find you in a bar. And they say Bart Starr was not the best quarterback in Packers history. It was Jordan Love. They get into a fight, and pretty soon somebody's dead, for goodness sake.
Yeah, or they shoot some idiot who's sitting down at the end of the bar inadvertently.
Who is a Vikings fan.
Who's a Vikings fan. Right, exactly.
Come on back for a trivia and what's worse after this on the Civic Media Radio Network. We probably spent a little more time on that than we should have, but I thought that was an important thing to, because
I think you both made good points.
It's making a lot of history. It's making a lot of headlines today in Wisconsin.
And these aren't those old giant clunkers we saw in the old days. They got Bluetooth, it's rechargeable, the works.
Yeah, my phone connects straight to my ears. I'm basically
Brewers up 8-5, top of the seventh.
But I did call Madison Hearing Aid Center, and you should too. 608-249-4077.
608-249-4077. Tell them John and Gordy sent you.
Buying a home is kind of like eating pistachios. Some are easy to open, some take a little work, and every once in a while, you get a tough one that makes you question your life choices. That's where we come in at Aaron Weber Group.
I really wish that like 60 Minutes or some place that has a lot of investigative team would look into Derek Van Orden's military record.
Yeah, seriously, because no one will say anything about him.
I'm not convinced that he actually was a Navy SEAL. I'm really not.
Because normally when somebody's a Navy SEAL, they get at least a few people who served with them to be like, yep, this guy was legit. I trust him with my life. And he's had nothing.
Right. And Trigby saw it with McCain. He had people that served with him. Unfortunately, was in the Hanoi Hilton with him.
Derek Van Orden, he was in the, I think, 2015, 2016 movie Act of Valor playing a Navy SEAL.
That's right.
So there is that.
Wouldn't that be something if all he did was play a Navy SEAL, if he wasn't actually a Navy SEAL? Which these days, I'm not saying that's not true.
It's perfect for escaping the hustle and bustle.
I don't know if he is or isn't. I mean, who knows? I just know he's an odd dude. That's what I know.
Extraordinarily.
Yeah, very strange. Strange person.
Dr. Strangelove.
About 20 seconds.
All right, thank you.
If French fries were fat-free and you still love me.
Welcome back to the Todd Allbaugh Show on the Civic Media Radio Network. 22 now, past the hour of 3 o'clock. Glad to have you along here on a Wednesday. Zombers spinning the tunes on the board. Quick update for you. Brewers Radio Network, which can be heard across terrestrial radio on many of these Civic Media stations. Brewers up in the top of the 7th. Added a couple more in the bottom of the 6th. Brewers 8, Pittsburgh 5 in the top of the 7th. Brewers 8, Pittsburgh 5, top of the 7th. 2 outs right now, trying to get to that 12th win in a row. So folks across Wisconsin can have some George Webb hamburgers. What goes well with burgers? How about fries? Time once again for What's Worse. Let's go.
This or that, this or that. And of course, the choice is yours. You can get with this or you can get with that.
Time once again for What's Worse. Nothing to give away, no prize money involved, but it is your chance to have your voice heard on all 10 news, talk, and sports stations across the Civic Media Radio Network. Category today, as we said, fries. Category, what's worse, McDonald's fries or Five Guys fries? McDonald's fries or Five Guys fries? 855-752-4842. 855-752-4842. You can also text us on the Civic Media app. If you don't have it, download it today on your Apple or Android device. Here's the best thing. On Friday, Free Ticket Friday, gonna give away 4 club level seats to a Milwaukee Brewers game. The Red Hot Brewers, as we said, playing right now, up right now in the 6th, 8-5. And we're going to give away 4 tickets on Friday. You can have a chance to text in a word of the hour on Kreitlow's show, 6 until 9. Matt Nair on air between 9 and 11. On the Tom Hartman Bitcoin show between 11 and 2. And then on our show, and then Maggie Dawn after us from 4 until 6. So be listening on Friday, free ticket Friday, and download the Civic Media app. It's free. Takes less than a minute. It's what Gail King at CBS calls a deal, the Civic Media app. What's worse, McDonald's fries or Five Guys fries? Robert in McFarland says, can't help you on this one. I only eat locally fried fries. Trivia, have you had a Five Guy fry?
I've had both.
Really?
This one's an easy one for me.
All right. You want to give your answer
Which
right
do
away?
you think it is, Todd?
I don't know because it's been I was talking to Zommers before the show. It's been literally years, maybe 5 or 6 years since I've had a Five Guys fry.
I don't think I've had one in like a decade.
Really? And so you go first, Trigby. I'm gonna say you're gonna say McDonald's.
Nope. Stop. I don't like Five Guys fries.
You love Five Guys fries?
No,
really.
I love McDonald's French fries.
Oh, well, that's what I meant. I'm sorry.
I'm okay with Five Guys fries, and I usually would do Five Guys over McDonald's, but I like McDonald's French fries. Sometimes, in fact, I'll just stop at McDonald's and buy French fries.
They're so
me
good.
Too.
They are. They're the best hangover remedy ever.
What's
better
worse?
than Gatorade? Actually, a big bottle of Gatorade and McDonald's French fries to patch you up in a hurry.
What's worse, McDonald's French fries or Five Guys fries? 855-752-4842. 855-752-4842. Or you can text us on the Civic Media app. So it's been a long time for you, Zommers, since you had Five Guys fries. You want to weigh in?
I think I'm going to have to say that Five Guys fries are worse just because McDonald's fries are the gold standard of fast food fries. Like, you have to, everything is compared to them. You know, even though back in the day, allegedly, before my time, they used to use real beef fat for frying the fries. And now they use beef fat flavoring because it turns out that was horrendously unhealthy.
Beef fat flavoring?
Yeah, that's what they use now.
Good gravy. All right.
But it tastes delicious. And, you know, as somebody who has to take salt pills in order to remain standing upright,
yes, you do.
Eating salty food is great. And I'm here for McDonald's fries. I got to say that Five Guys fries are worse.
Robert, listening in La Crosse on WLCX. We were up in La Crosse last week. Great city up there on the river. He says, ranking, BK Burger King, I guess, no salt fries are the top spot. All right.
No salt? Hard disagree.
Number 2, Five Guys. And then McDonald's fries, he says, are limpy.
They can be.
Well, I think it depends on whether you got a fresh one or not.
Yeah,
Tom,
that is 100% true. They can be. Yeah, they have.
You got to get a fresh one.
Wendy's fries are terrible.
Although they used to be terrible. After, I think, 2021, they debuted a new fry recipe, and they improved a lot.
Really?
Do y'all have Shake Shack out there? Shake Shack.
We do.
Great.
Shake Shack's solid.
I mean, they put a new one at Hilldale across from LL Bean when I worked there. I think that Shake Shack is fine. I also think that it's overpriced and overrated. Take me to Culver's anytime, any day over Shake Shack.
If I didn't have Culver's, I'm sure I'd love it.
Heather checking in on Facebook from Eau Claire says both are very good, but Five Guys is worse. Whatever addictive powder they shake on the Mickey D's fries must be the secret. Crack. They put crack on there. Tom in New Berlin, listening in on WAUK, says, yes, Mickey D's fries rock. So Five Guys is worse. Also, very quickly, little public service announcement on one of our great sponsors, Kopke's Greenhouse down in the town of Dunn outside the city of Oregon here in Dane County. Gordy Kopke listening in on MDX. Gordy says, hey, can you give us a shout out for the nonprofit Jazz at 5 live tonight on the Capitol Square, 5 o'clock until 7:30. Hope to see you there. Thanks, Gordy. I wonder when that was starting back up. I know it usually starts after the concerts in the square. So, yeah, stop on out tonight. Help the nonprofits that Gordy Kopke is a part of. Jazz at 5 live tonight, right half a block away from where Zommers and I are sitting, a block away here at the top of State Street. So I'm going to say, I'm going to agree with my friend Trigby and with Zommers. Five Guys fries are worse. Mickey D's fries rock. Thank you, Trigby. I appreciate you for sticking around. Take care of Cookie and Chloe.
I will, Todd.
All right. Come on back. We'll talk a little baseball after this on the Civic Media Radio Network.
Conversation 92.7.
That was great. That was great. Thanks, Trigby, for sticking around. I'll after the show, I'll follow
call
up with
me
an
after
email.
the show.
I'll call you. All right,
call
thanks.
me.
All right,
Radio
bye.
Network.
Well, there's a new group in dairy. The Dairy Grazing Alliance works to grow each part of the dairy grazing sector. I'm Kylie Allen for the Midwest Farm Report.
Yeah, the Wendy's fry update that they did, game changer.
Really, I haven't been to a Wendy's in well over a decade.
You should go because their new fries are actually really good in my opinion.
I never really liked the hamburgers that much.
That's fair. I don't know how much that's changed.
Market, interest that's out there. We've got
but the fries are great.
Wendy herself has changed over the years, her hairstyle and other things.
This is true.
Market. Predictions of close to a $7
Very subtly.
billion sector within 2031. Much of this sector is sourced with imported type of dairy products. So we really think that there's the opportunity to be able to grow with this sector and grow domestically with it.
Joe Tamandel along with us. He's a fourth-generation dairy farmer in central Wisconsin and the founder of the Dairy
According to
Grazing
Wikipedia, Van
Apprenticeship
Orden
and the Dairy
served for
Grazing
26
Alliance.
years.
Stay tuned. I'll be back with
and
a look at your
served in
markets
5
after
combat
this.
deployments.
But do we know that Wikipedia is really all that? Because you can change your own profile on that thing.
You can, but people will notice and change it back.
But that's my point. Does anybody really know the facts on this guy?
Experience the real deal. It's at the corner of Nesbitt Road, Fitch-Rona Road in Fitchburg. They're open Monday through Friday, 9 until 7, Saturday 9 until 1. I just swung down to enjoy their regular Friday brat fry. It's outside, but it happens rain or shine, and it features all the different flavors that Bavaria sausage has made famous. And
Well, the
I'll
Library
tell
of
you what,
Congress
the customers spoke loud
says
and
that
clear
he
about
is
why they
associated
love
with
Bavaria
the Navy
sausage.
SEALs.
It's the flavor.
All
It's
right,
the
Library of Congress.
ingredients. It's the
But then, I'm not
snap
trying to be argumentative. I'm just saying.
No, I know. I'm also wondering.
It used to be that you could trust all these institutions, and for the most part, we can. But we also know now that even the Library of Congress is susceptible to Trump pressure and rewriting history.
That is true. Yeah. So no, I'm not arguing either.
No.
I'm just looking at it because
I
I
just want
also
people on the
question.
stream or whoever going, "Oh, Todd's being a jerk to Zommers." No, I'm not. I appreciate what he's doing. I'm just saying we've reached a point in this country where we can no longer 100% agree on these institutions to give us accurate information.
Unfortunately.
New crop beans closed up 11.5 at 10:40.
I do like-
Joseph, yes, 5 Guys are worse. Mickey D's are better. Quality and value. Thank you, Joseph.
Also,
Appreciate
one
it.
thing that I don't want to say on the on air in order to be accused of giving away free advertising, but that I will say on the stream, the McDonald's app actually has a lot of really good deals.
Really?
Legitimately.
I've never used it.
I downloaded it because every once in a while I need a salty snack pronto. As I said, to remain standing upright.
That's important.
And so I'll go through McDonald's, and one of the best deals they have on there, you can do $6 for a drink, a medium fry, and you can pick from Big Mac, double quarter pounder, or one of their chicken sandwiches. And these days, $6 is not bad for that.
Winds are out of the northwest, barely moving, and with clear skies tonight, lows slide to about 60 degrees.
No additional charge. All you have to do is have space for it on your phone and be okay with getting a couple of mildly annoying notifications a week.
Mildly annoying.
Oh yeah, I mean, all it is it pops up and I just swipe it away.
Even though all these years have passed,
Got one earlier today.
I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you. At
Oh, I never got back to talking more about Jordan Love, so I took too much time on Barry.
Brought to you by the
Oh,
Dollar
he got his
General
point in. He doesn't think it's a big deal.
Where working people come to talk.
It's the Rick Smith Show, weeknights at 9 on the Civic
So,
Media Radio
owner
Network.
Trigby Olson
Join me
thinks
for
it's not a
an
big
honest
deal.
approach to the
Not a big
issues
deal.
American
Sports
working
reporter Mike
families care
Clemens
about. No talking points,
declines
no
to
focus
comment on the
groups.
topic.
Get ready for a
Yeah,
heavy
because
dose of
Mike is a professor. He does not
democracy,
speculate
fairness,
too much.
grit,
Right,
and no
yeah.
He
politics.
simply reports the
Current
facts.
affairs from a working class
The facts,
labor
just the
perspective.
facts, man.
Facts are center, science is real, and
20
everyone
seconds.
gets a
Thank
seat
you.
at the table. The Rick Smith Show.
Oh, put me in cold. I'm ready to play today. Put me in cold. I'm ready to play today. Look at me. I can be center field.
Welcome back to the Todd Allbaugh Show on the Civic Media Radio Network. Now 35 past the hour of 3 o'clock on Wednesday, August 13th. Zommers on the board. Brewers on the field, up to bat in the bottom of the 7th inning. Crew trying to win 12 in a row for the first time since 2018. Only be the third time in franchise history. They are up right now 8-5 in the bottom of the 7th inning. I believe now 2 men on base, make it 1 person, 1 guy on base, 1 out. Bottom of the 7th. Brewers 8, Pirates 5, going for 12 in a row. We'll keep you up to date as the game progresses on many of these Civic Media radio stations over the air. Cannot broadcast the game on the old on the streaming service, as they say. Quick cleanup in aisle 2. Well, people are listening on delay sometimes, and that's fine. We love that. And so they're weighing in on today's What's Worse. So we'll give a couple of these that came in late on YouTube. Joseph watching on YouTube. The category today, by the way, was What's Worse, McDonald's fries or Five Guys fries. Joseph on YouTube says Five Guys are worse. Mickey D's are better quality and value. And also Megan out in beautiful Sun Prairie, listening on WMDX, says this is like comparing apples to oranges. Five Guys is not as well known as McDonald's. I can't even remember what Five Guys fries taste like. Probably been a decade since I've had them. Thanks, Megan. That was kind of me, too. I've had them. It's been a long time, 5-6 years. Zommers longer. So, yeah, I think pretty much Mickey D's 1 out. Almost unanimous today, Zommers, right?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, I feel like the strongest argument against McDonald's fries is that it's easy to eat too many of them.
Right. That's very. And we've talked about this before, too. Coca-Cola in the fountain, getting it in your glass at McDonald's, for some odd reason, just tastes refreshingly better.
Well, it's because they bring it to McDonald's in stainless steel vats.
Are you serious?
That's why. That's the main reason.
They don't do the plastic cardboard, syrup stuff that goes into the system?
No, for McDonald's only, they bring it in stainless steel vats.
I did not know that. Wow.
So Coke really does taste better at McDonald's.
We're not doing a promo on this.
It's just the truth. It is different.
Right. It's just different. I mean, those two things. But for my money, if I'm going to, people that watch this show know, I'm going to stop at Culver's. I'm going to support a good
me too.
Wisconsin-based chain. Brewers 8, Pirates 5 right now. Bottom of the 7th, 1 out, 2 men on for the Crew right now. Speaking of the Crew, thought we'd bring a little sound from Christian Yelich. The Atlantic is, or probably the Athletic, Atlantic also good as well, but the Athletic, great source for sports information. And Jason Stark sat down recently with Doug Glanville for the Athletic and talked to Christian Yelich a little bit about this team, about what makes it special. And so often we get into the balls and the strikes and the scores and home, and all that's great. I mean, look at me. I'm in a Bob Uecker Milwaukee Brewer jersey and my new Brewers baseball cap today. So I'm all for it. By the way, Brewers score again. Now 9-5. Bottom of the 7th inning, Joey Ortiz with another RBI. Joey O. How about that guy? Fantastic. Brewers 9, Pittsburgh 5 right now, bottom of the 7th. So here's a little bit of this interview from the Athletic with Christian Yelich on what it's like right now being a Milwaukee Brewer.
Even during the game on the bench, we have a lot of guys that like talk about situations and stuff that's happening in the game. And like, was that good? Was that not good? Like, what do you think about this here? And stuff like that. I really do think that's a reason why we've been so successful. Like everybody wants to know, why we win games. I don't know if it's because they're not familiar with a lot of our players on the teams. Like they're kind of amazed that we're not bad. It seems like, that's kind of what it feels like when you hear is like everyone thinks there's like some sort of like magical thing happening.
Come on, you got to reveal that secret sauce, man.
I think we have good players is what it is, but they might not just be like household names or people that other like fans have heard of or media members have heard of, but they can play the game. And that's what it's about, right? Is playing the game and trying to score more than the other team.
That's Christian Yelich, interview from The Athletic on what it's like just kind of being a Brewer right now. Such a leader. And Zommers, let me know when you're ready, because I sent you another clip here from Pat Murphy, manager Pat Murphy, on Christian Yelich, and what kind of a guy he's like as a leader of the team in the clubhouse. And this is what's so fascinating, because if you don't know the backstory, I think it's really important what's happening right now in Milwaukee. And they intentionally, and not like they were, we're going to, make Yelich our club leader, but they did it right. When they drafted Yelich, they picked him up. He was out in Los Angeles visiting his mom because he's from that area. And so they flew the team plane out there to get Yelich. And Euchre was on the plane. I think they picked up Yelich, and then they went to Arizona, and they picked up Euchre and Robin Yount in the team plane before they went up to Milwaukee. So Yelich tells his story before of his first introduction to Brewers baseball on a plane locked in a fuselage together was Bob Euchre and Robin Yount. I don't know two people that could indoctrinate you more into what being a Brewer is supposed to be like than Euchre and Yount. And that was it. That was the impetus for Christian Yelich understanding Brewers baseball. Here's manager Pat Murphy on Christian Yelich.
And he's really tough on himself. If the fans knew how much burden and responsibility he feels from that big contract and the way he handles it, if they knew how special this guy was, he'd get the standing ovation every time out, because he's been a huge influence. Huge influence. Last year's team, this year's team, and teams before that. Just amazing, and he's the right dude. And he knows the temperature in there of the water better than anyone. He's just perfect for those guys in there. You know what I mean? Because he just doesn't try to lead. He just leads because he's really a sincere, giving person in his own way. And he doesn't try. He just is a really good person. And he really reaches out to those young guys. He sees what they need. He's just great, man. He's really great.
Manager Pat Murphy, after the game here this week, talking a little bit about what it's like to have Christian Yelich in the clubhouse. And again, Pat Murphy, a guy been around the Brewers organization for over a decade, been around baseball even longer. He's a grizzled manager. He's a guy who never thought he was going to get his shot like this. But because Counsell went to Chicago unexpectedly, their Brewers are kind of caught shorthanded. And I honestly think it was Euchre and Yelich and some of the people in the clubhouse that basically said, give Murph a chance. I don't know all that for sure, but just some of the things have kind of read tangentially. And they did. And it's worked out really, really well. Got one more cut, Zommers. It's ready. It's a pro as always. This is a cut via Adam McCavalli. And he posted this. Again, this was a little bit more of Yelich on the win streak right now.
You always remind us how hard it is to win a major league game. Yeah. To have 2 10-game winning streaks, we're just asking Jose this. Can you kind of explain how hard that is to do?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to just win one game in the major leagues, but I think we've done it by just being present and focusing on the current day and not thinking about previous days or what we have ahead of us, just staying present in the moment and, talking about and figuring out what we got to do to win that night.
How hard is that to do?
It's hard, and, the guys have done a really good job and been really focused, and just we talk about it all the time as far as, what we need to do to win, what we like about what we did before, and what we need to continue to do going forward, what we get better at. And that's like a constant dialogue in this clubhouse, and it's a really fun team to be a part of. And the guys have come a long way over the course of the year of just getting better and more experienced, and just understanding how we can play the game and affect the outcomes.
Kristen Yelich, post-game interview here this week on this win streak, what it's like. And I just think a lot of people are. I've seen this a lot of internet chatter, social media chatter. Well, they get our hopes up and then they crush our dreams, get crushed in the postseason. You know what? Forget that. Enjoy the moment. Enjoy the moment, you guys. That's one of the great things that I've taken away from my involvement. I'm never a great player really in anything. But my time being a manager on a team in high school and baseball and football, my time being involved with Pioneer Sports, having the honor to call Pioneer basketball when Bo Ryan was there winning national championships, and Pioneer football when Paul Christad was the head coach there, and then others have followed. Being around baseball teams, softball teams. One of the great lessons I've learned from my dad being a wrestling coach for 30 plus years, one of the great lessons from athletics, from sports, is enjoy the moment. Just live in the moment. And we can, and even people that aren't athletically inclined or say, I don't care that much about sports, it's a great lesson. We can worry about, this might all come to an end tomorrow. Or we can get too down on ourselves about, I made mistakes in my past. The one thing that we can live in is today and the present, and enjoy that. Enjoy that. Sommers?
Yeah, I also I like what he said about not only living in the moment and only thinking about that day, but the team sitting down after every game to talk about, okay, here's what worked, here's what didn't. It's everybody being open to that constructive criticism and working together as a team of, okay, this is what has to happen. Why did or didn't it happen today?
100%. You nailed it right there. And I think that's why this win streak is continuing on. And if it holds, we're still the bottom of the 7th right now. Brewers have the bases loaded. 2 outs. William Contreras at the plate. Brewers lead it right now, 9-5. And you're absolutely right, Sommers, that one of the other takeaways is work as a team. Don't care who gets the credit, and just keep, Pat Murphy, the manager, keeps saying that, he's calling them the average Joes because other than Yelich, maybe there aren't a bunch of huge household name stars or the lowest paid teams in professional baseball. He's called them average Joes. He's also called them, just woodpecker baseball, a bunch of woodpeckers. Keep pecking away. Keep coming in, taking your swing at the plate, doing it every day. And again, to your point, lots to be learned there, whether you're a sports fan or not. Just keep pecking away. Get better every day. Work as a team.
That's how you get world-class anything.
Right. And look, as somebody who was around when the Brewers were really, really bad, and who remembers when the Brewers went to the World Series in 1982, because I was in middle school, and if you weren't around or you don't have a lot of memory of those times, happen to have it in my hot little hands, you can still see the movie Just a Bit Outside, the story of the 1982 Milwaukee Brewers run to the World Series. You can find it on Amazon, on Apple TV, on Roku for free, or on a DVD as well. Check that out, because these vibes haven't been around really since 82. Enjoy it in the moment. Come back, wrap up the show after this on the Civic Media Radio Network.
News, weather, and sports on air and streaming
it's the
on
same stuff you hear from great musicians. Like when I was in college, taking
Hey, Gordy,
lessons
I gotta
from
admit, these
world
hearing
class
aids from Madison
trombonists or
Hearing Aid
whatever. You
Center
wouldn't
change
think
my
there's
life.
that much
Mine too,
overlap,
John. I
but
thought I
it really
needed
is. Like,
subtitles to talk to
you
my
always have to
grandkids.
be
These aren't
focused
those
in the
old
moment
giant clunkers we saw
and
in the
living
old
and
days.
breathing
It's got
what you
Bluetooth,
want
it's
to be the best
rechargeable,
at,
works.
Yeah, my
and
phone
honest with
connects
yourself
straight to my
about
ears. I'm
what you
basically a
did and didn't
cyborg.
do
Yeah,
right.
you just figured out
Yeah,
texting last year,
100%.
too.
Yeah, baby steps.
All right, Rick, if you can hear us, we'll come to you here after the break. Quick Brewers update. Get your thoughts on McDonald's. And we'll wrap up the
608-249-4077.
show.
Tell them John and Gordy sent you.
I love a day on the water with friends, but my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis sometimes holds me back. Now I'm all in with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi. Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy.
Teaching music is my passion, but my active psoriatic arthritis
10 to
can limit
5.
me at times.
Milwaukee,
Now I'm
bases
treating my
loaded
joint
still,
symptoms
2
with
out.
Skyrizi.
With Skyrizi, most people with plaque psoriasis saw 90% clearer skin at 4 months.
Or if you are an adult with active psoriatic arthritis, Skyrizi helps you move with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
There's nothing like clearer skin.
There's nothing like better movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi. Visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZI to learn more.
Streaming TV is where it's at. It's not about cutting the cord anymore. It's all about your customized TV options. With the best and cheapest high-speed internet and your own TV subscriptions, we've got your dream TV lineup. Between wired and satellite internet and TV, save money and get more internet speed and better TV today by calling the Whole Home Connect.
800-217-9129. 800-217-9129. 800-217-9129.
Hey, Gordy. How you doing?
Oh, Arthur, great. Great to see you. What are you doing in the studio?
Well, I need to talk to you about doing a commercial.
Oh, okay. Well, you know, to get a commercial on the air here, you just go down to the sales department. It's right next to the bathroom.
I don't think you understand.
Oh, I understand plenty. You salespeople drink a lot of coffee. That's why the bathroom's right there.
Right, but I need to have you make a commercial about commercials.
Wait. A commercial about a commercial? I don't follow.
I want to tell potential business owners out there how to contact me to get a commercial on WMDX.
Ah, okay, I get it. Okay, let's come up with something. Let's see. Business folks can contact you directly, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
what's the email, huh?
Okay, so it's sales@WMDXradio.com.
Oh, wait, run that by me again.
Sales@WMDXradio.com.
About 20 seconds.
All right, thank you. Welcome back to the Allbaugh Show on the Civic Media Radio Network, where it is now 8 minutes before the hour of 4 o'clock. At the top of the hour, ABC or CBS News, depending upon which of our great stations you're listening to across the state of Wisconsin, followed by a weather update. Nice skies here in Madison this afternoon, and nice skies in Milwaukee right now as well, as many folks continue to clean up and try to recover from those floods over the weekend. Sports Report with a great sports reporter, Mike Clemens, and then another great edition of the Maggie Dawn Show. Maggie Dawn every afternoon between 2 and 4, followed by our friend and colleague, Mr. Pete Schwaba, and Nightlight across the Civic Media Radio Network as well. Brewers trying to get 12 in a row in terms of wins. It's the bottom of the 7th, 2 outs. And Christian Yelich, they walked Contreras, that walked in a run, and then Christian Yelich was able to get a hit, and it's now 12-5 Milwaukee. Milwaukee 12. Milwaukee 12, Pittsburgh 5, and it's in the bottom of the 7th, 2 outs. So the Brewers keep on moving here. If they can hold, it would be 12 in a row for Milwaukee. It would tie their second longest win streak in franchise history, and more importantly to many of our listeners, it would mean free hamburgers at George Webb. Stay tuned. Clemens will continue to follow this and have updates for you throughout the afternoon. Let's go quickly to the phone lines, 855-752-4842. Rick, listening down in Waukesha. Listen to our What's Worse earlier. The category was What's Worse, McDonald's fries or Five Guys fries. First of all, Rick, how are you and your family in the Waukesha area after the flooding over the weekend?
Well, a lot of the bridges are shut down, so the traffic is just jammed up all the way Moreland to Milwaukee.
Wow. Yeah, it's
Through the
tough.
city.
Yeah, tough for a lot of people. Thoughts, prayers, and good vibes to you and everybody else in the Waukesha area down there. What do you got at McDonald's?
Well, I've eaten the McDonald's a lot.
The fries.
As a matter of fact, when I worked construction, I worked on one.
Oh, really? All right.
The first one that was the 1950s, like one over by Southridge.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I think overall, I've always heard that they have their own potatoes.
Really?
And, like a company that makes them or something.
A contract
And
for a
I
certain
think-
farm, yeah.
Yeah, and I think what I've been realizing lately is overall they're really good, and I think a lot of times they're bringing in fresh salt.
Yeah, see right there. It's this.
If you get
right.
fresh, good salt,
right.
It tastes like it's way stronger.
Right. No, it's high quality salt, right? And whatever it is, it's addictive.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it is.
Well, thanks for listening, Rick. I always appreciate your listenership. And again, thoughts, prayers, and all the best to you folks in Waukesha and everywhere else trying to recover from those floods. We're with you.
For you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it, Rick, down there in Waukesha, listening on a great station, WAUK. Tom in New Berlin says the Webs watch. They're on Web Watch. Add web fries, but they're tasty at 2 in the morning on a Saturday, says Tom in New Berlin. That sounds like he is speaking from experience. Can update you now. The Brewers are now into the top of the 8th. Top of the 8th right now, inning in Milwaukee. Brewers 12 and Pirates, what did you say, 5? Yeah. So, yeah, Milwaukee's pulling away here. 2 more innings to go. We will see if they can hang on for those George Webb burgers. I'm just captivated. I know in a time when there's a lot of pain and suffering in Milwaukee after these floods, when the news isn't great every day, especially in the dog days of August, we need a little bit of good news, something that could distract us from all the craziness of politics, and we can rally behind. Again, it's not unlike, in some ways, 1982, when there was a lot of economic strife in the Milwaukee area, in particular, Schlitz Brewing, other breweries were going under, people losing their jobs, economically depressed. The city needed a hero or a distraction, and the Brewers needed fans to support them because they were just kind of a ragtag bunch. And 1982 was a magical year. And I'm not here to predict how this year is going to end, but again, I hope we all live in this moment and enjoy the positive distraction, a chance to rally together as neighbors, a chance to rally together as a state, and just enjoy the ride, folks, as long as this thing lasts. Brewers, and I think we should all be able to rally around the fact that we are 7.5 games right now, an inning and a half away from being 8.5 games up on the Chicago Cubs. We should all be able to rally around that.
Earlier, before we started the show, you and Luke were talking, and our Chris Casper, we were talking about whether or not we watched the game last night. And one of my roommates is a Cubs fan, so that's what was on the TV.
Right.
So I'll be glad when we're still holding out.
We'll finish this tomorrow. I got a great piece here. Somebody sent me. I love it. I'm going to give it to you in its entirety tomorrow. Said, where is your speech on the Dignity Index? Says Tom Shriver is a former head of the Special Olympics, which was founded by his mother, Eunice Kennedy Shriver. I mispronounced that. I'm sorry. It's Tom Shriver. This is what happens. See, all right, I'm just going to pause here for a second. When I try to read off my computer screen with my glasses I need, it ain't good, so I apologize. So Tom Shriver, former head of the Special Olympics, which was founded by his mother, Eunice Kennedy Shriver. He's also the son of the Peace Corps founder, leading Sarge Shriver. and they put together what's called the Dignity Index. So, Zomer, don't let me forget to, we're going to get to this tomorrow. It's fascinating, and it's something we should all be thinking about, including me. Our Dignity Index. We'll talk about that tomorrow on the show. Also talking about public broadcasting tomorrow as well. Going to have some very special guests from Wisconsin Public Television, Wisconsin Public Radio, right here on the show, talking about the cuts by the Federal Corporation of Broadcasting. Great show today. Many thanks to Pat Kreitlow, Trigby Olson, Zommers, the board, and all of you for listening. Maggie Dawn is next. Go Crew, 12-5 right now in the top of the 8th. Brewers, whatever you're fighting for, whatever you believe in, do not give up. Keep banging your drum. We'll see you tomorrow.
Adios, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.